James Bennet. I'm the director of Australian Dog Grooming School. Here are 3 tips to help you open a successful dog grooming business. Firstly, the best techniques of training. When you're starting to get into the industry and wanting to become a dog groomer, there's a lot of different avenues you can go down, whether it's social media, finding a private school, or learning yourself from home. Firstly, the best techniques of training. When you're starting to get into the industry and wanting to become a dog groomer, there's a lot of different avenues you can go down, whether it's social media, finding a private school, or learning yourself from home. When you're starting out, it's quite a difficult situation to start with and navigate through, because you need to understand how to use your tools properly, what they're for, buying the best ones and not the cheap ones. So when you're starting out, and that I always recommend going to a school first with an accreditation or a lot of history behind it with some of the best teachers. So you really want to do your due diligence and really find out, because where you start to learn from to get those best techniques of training is so important for your later future foundation as well. That's going to set you up for success. So understanding how to bathe and dry a dog first is so important. It's not as easy as you think. There's proper techniques there to do it, as well as learning how to hold clippers, what type of clippers to use, what type of blades. When you go to a proper school, they're going to teach you all of this. And that, again, is so important, because it's just not as easy as picking up a pair of clippers, because you would always see the DIY stuff at home or the home haircuts. So you don't want to be doing that. That's not how you start in the industry. So then, again, learning how to hold scissors. Everybody holds them incorrectly. It's not like holding kitchen scissors. There's a proper technique of how to hold them, and there's a certain way of using different tools and scissors, because there's so many. There's not just one. So there's just so many different avenues to understand when you're trying to learn the best techniques of grooming. So going to a proper school, learning from the best teachers you can that are in those facilities is so important to help get you there, to build your career up, because you start here and there's layers to this. So you want to make sure when you're going and starting out, you find those best ways and the best techniques through going through to the best schools. So secondly, building a successful business. There's a lot of competition in dog grooming all around the world. I myself in Australia have 2 different grooming salons, one in Brisbane, one in Melbourne, both completely separate from each other, 20-hour drive or 2-hour flight. But for them, there's a lot of competition there. So there's a lot of cutthroat, getting through that, obviously, area there to get through to all the different companies and try and make sure you're a standout brand. So for me, myself, when I started out, it was just myself. Now I have 2 salons with over 17 staff, and with my teams, we put a lot of effort in there to make sure they understand how to serve clients properly, how to do the best practices and techniques, and obviously offer the best service possible, right? So setting up a successful business, you need to learn how to groom properly first. You have to understand your clientele's needs, understand what your niche is, and understand how to then bring that to the clientele. Again, picking your business name, your colors, the whole layout of your business as well, because you can go in many different avenues on how you market yourself and market your brand. I myself prefer to be more high-end, so my colors are a particular color, my layout and my aesthetics is a particular way of how I do that as well. And when you're going through that, you need to understand that how you market that to that clientele is how that starts to become a successful business, okay? So working and understanding where you're setting up your business, what's your overhead, how much does it cost to run the business, right? Products, tools, does it cost money for staff? All of that. There's many successful ways of doing that. Myself, I have those 2 salons in Australia. They've been voted Australia's best grooming salons multiple times in a row, and the multiple best grooming salons in their own state as well. For me, when I did that, I really focused on giving high quality service, high quality work for my clientele, and making sure that they felt valued, because then that just built up what we already had going. So gave us more work, gave me more money. I mean, I could spend more time on my team and investing in them to then build up our brand more and more and more. And especially nowadays with social media, you need to make sure that you're building a successful business to try and make sure that you shine through the already crowded market that's there. So building a successful business, again, is really important. Just understand the basics. And I always cover that in my own courses. and when I'm speaking to students and people I'm mentoring as well. And lastly, mentoring and upskilling. So when you're starting out in the industry, or even if you've been in the industry for a long time, 10, 20 years or longer, times change, trends change, techniques change as well. So I'm a big believer in getting the right people around you, getting the right mentors to mentor you and educate you, whether that's grooming and building up your techniques, working with staff, or obviously then working with clientele and your prices and your strategies of how to run that successful business. And you need those mentors around you, because it's not just grooming, right? Mentoring and having the right people around you is going to help you become more successful. I've been quite fortunate to have some of the best mentors around myself, whether it's in business or in dog grooming as well, to teach me how to be a better leader, how to be a better dog groomer, how to be a better teacher as well, and also a better business person, right? You can be really good at what you do, but you might not be really good at business, right? So you need to understand that. And I always get the best mentors around me to help me build that up as well. And when I'm working with students, I'm always talking to them about times changing. There's so many different techniques in dog grooming now. Gone are the days of 10, 20 years ago of just being a groomer and just trimming some hair. There's a lot more creativity in what we do now with Asian fusion, obviously Brie style trims. You've got hand stripping, you've got D-sheds, you've got creative as well. There's so many different styles, and that's just a handful of them. But with dog grooming becoming so popular, groomers always need to keep upskilling. I myself have over a decade of experience, but if I stopped upskilling and learning and to be better and get more skills and more knowledge, my businesses and myself and my students that I've worked with over the last 10 years now wouldn't be at the levels that we're all at now if I obviously got quite complacent and I didn't really look about upskilling my own skills as well. So I'm a big advocate for learning to be better, upskilling, getting as much information as possible, because it doesn't matter how good you are, you never stop learning. So getting the right mentors around you and upskilling and learning how to be a better groomer or a better business person is so important and so vital to the future of what we do. So again, because there is so much competition out there, I'm a big believer. I don't like just being ordinary. I like to stand out. I like to be professional, and I like to be the best at what I can do. I know there's a lot of amazing people around me and there's a lot of amazing groomers as well, but I want to make sure that what my brand is and what we stand for stands out. That's why I really invest a lot of money every year in my teams and myself to make sure mentoring and upskilling is growing consistently. So I'm a really big believer in you must spend the money to do that. You spend $10,000 on training, how are you going to make that $10,000 back? I'm personally, for myself, if I spend 10 grand on mentoring and upskilling, I know I'm going to 10 times that later on. And every time I do that, effort compounds and I make more back financially, and my business is growing more and more and more. So never get complacent, learn more, get the right people around you to learn to be better and whatever it is you're trying to be better at.